Welcome to the Delmarva Almanac. Each week we connect you to the best of Delmarva. Like other almanacs, our aim is to tell you a little bit about our past, our present, and events in the near future. I'm your host, Dana Kester McCabe. We may not spend much time in our garden during this time of year, but that doesn't mean that other folks don't hang out there. Feathered folks, that is. There's quite a bit to learn about feeding birds in our backyard. The area that I have tended to neglect is regular cleaning of the feeder. Birding experts at Cornell University say that we should scrub them out regularly and sweep up the rotting seed hulls on the ground, as these can spread disease in birds. Naturally, that mostly applies to when the ground is dry and hard. Now that we've had our first significant snowfall of the season, that will have to wait. Keeping bird feeders can bring we bird lovers a great deal of pleasure. They are probably more for us than the birds. Morning is an ideal time to watch for many feeder visitors, but really any time of day is good. You'll get to know who frequents at what time of day. Scientists at the Audubon Society say that feeding the birds does not make it any harder for them to fend for themselves on their own, and it does not affect their inclination to migrate. So, what should we feed the birds? As a kid, my job was to fill the feeders and cut suet into small cubes, stuffing it into the holes of a slender log with branches that birds ate from. It used to be that you had to get this from a butcher. Now you can buy it anywhere that birdseed is sold along with metal wire boxes, so it does not have to be cut up. It comes plain or in a variety of specific mixtures containing seeds, nuts, or fruit. Birds like downy woodpeckers, chickadees, titmice, and nuthatches love it. Fresh cut fruit is another popular item for any of these birds, along with orioles, tanagers, bluebirds, or waxwings. Commercial seed mixes usually contain any of the following things: buckwheat, milo, millet, oats, wheat, flax, and sunflower. Finches and other songbirds tend to like the sunflower and thistle seeds the best. I've tended to avoid those mixes which contain yellow seed, because the people who we bought our house from advised me that was what attracted starlings and crows. Indeed, after seeing their flocks invade and clean out my feeders in a matter of minutes, I have followed their advice. Birdseed should be kept in airtight containers because it can go bad. It's interesting how particular we are about who patronizes our little bird restaurants. I know of people who will shoo away beautiful but strident blue jays who can be predatory egg thieves during nesting season. Hawks can also use our feeders to stalk their prey. Most birds are very shy but persistent. If you see a hawk lurking about, experts suggest scaring the birds you want to protect. The hawk will either take off as well or get tired of waiting for them to return, which they surely will do. House cats can be a problem at feeders, particularly if you live in a neighborhood where you or your neighbors let pets roam, or there are feral cats. I've been told by bird rescuers that if you put the feeder up high, the birds should be safe. It's the seed that drops on the ground that can prove to be the bird's demise. Some people will go to the trouble of creating a wire mesh barrier below the feeder that birds can enter to feed, but that keeps predators away from them. Traditionally, people have also put out stale bread and cake for birds. But this can attract pests like rats and raccoons, and probably should be avoided. Some folks will go to great lengths to prevent furry competition from stealing all the feed. The most common preventative for squirrels, possums, and raccoons is installing a slick metal cone which prevents them from climbing into the feeder. I have a friend who has been posting on Facebook a tally, including a mugshot of all the squirrels he has caught in a trap. He takes his prisoners as far away as possible and releases them humanely. As of this writing, over a couple of years, he has arrested 82 offending squirrels and sentenced them to exile. Another concern for people keeping feeders is the hazard of birds crashing into windows. Some people put up netting or hang things in their windows to alert the birds. Surprisingly, what seems to work is to hang feeders within 3 feet of the window. Birds will aim for the feeder and keep their flying speed low nearby. So even if they cannot avoid hitting the window, they will not smash into it with such force that they are injured. I personally could watch the birds at my feeders for hours. I love the little juncos and chickadees. I also love the colorful finches and cardinals. Occasionally I've seen something really interesting like a downy woodpecker or a rufous-sided towhee. As my visitors squabble and play together, they actually provide as much entertainment as most television shows. I don't know if that says more about me or about television. If you'd like to find out more about bird feeder care, what seeds attract which birds for our area, and more, visit our website, delmarvaalmanac.com/living. Well, that's all for this edition of the Delmarva Almanac. We'd like to thank our community partners, the Friends of Delmarva Public Radio, the Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore, and underwriters, eatdrinkbuyart.com, for their help in bringing this program to you, our audience. Our theme music was provided by Brightside Studio. This show has been a Moonshell production. Thanks for listening. Until we meet again, may the rhythms and tides of Delmarva bring you good fortune.